20 to 10 now. Good evening. She's on the phone now.
Okay. Oh, thank you. All right. 7 on the dot. Call to order the meeting of the Common Council meeting of the Brookings City Council. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Counselor Malmberg.
Here.
Counselor Pareda.
Present.
Counselor Martin.
Here.
Counselor Fulton. Here. Mayor Hodges.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you didn't notice, there's been some work on the sound, which has been needed. If you've tried to listen online, it's been rough. So hopefully it's much better from now on. Thank you for your patience. So before we get to oral requests and communications from the audience, we have a scheduled public appearance with Diana Cooper. If you want to work your way up, while she comes up, I just also wanted to really quickly say we did have a executive session that was scheduled for tonight, but due to mostly my greenness as a mayor, it wasn't titled correctly, so it's tomorrow we're having the executive session titled correctly. So I just wanted to clarify that for everyone tonight. Hi, Diana.
everybody should have got a copy of this. This is just a snapshot, but I'll go over it. So my name is Diana Cooper. I'm at 805 Paradise Lane. I am the Executive Director for Brookings Core Response. We are located out in Harbor in the shopping center just above the DMV. I brought with me most of my team behind me, and I'll introduce them as we go. And all right, so I want to start off with talking about our 2023 programs and services. And that's what you see right here. This is a snapshot of all of our services that we provided. So we had 2 programs in 2023. We had Peer House, which is our walk-in services, and that was managed by our Peer House manager. That's Kathleen. I don't think she's here tonight. And then Laura, which is our peer support specialist. And so they provided 3,857 walk-in services for 2023 and served 513 unique individuals in our community. Some of these obviously are passed through and moved on, but the majority of these live in our community. For Peer House walk-in services, we do 20 items of clothing per month. That's not including jackets, shoes, and backpacks, which are typically 1 to 2 per season, depending on availability. 2 hygiene bags per month, which includes dental care, hair care, body wipes and soap, wound care, harm reduction supplies, pet supplies, and other basic needs. We do try to include, if somebody asks for something we don't have, we try to include that for the future. Phone charging, public phone, we have a phone there that people can use. Internet access, and then bathroom access, which is one of the most used services. Coffee, snacks, hot noodles, oatmeal, and other food items. And then we provide peer support services, which is like informal counseling when someone's in crisis, basic referrals and resource navigation, and intakes for our other programs. So that is the Peer House program, which covers walk-in services. Now, we also had a case management program called Resource Navigation. So this was Dave Hubbard and Steve Scruggs, which are behind you. You guys can raise your hands. Yay. So our health navigation included getting insurance, finding a provider, securing transportation, some housing navigation like finding housing, applying, helping with fees and basic costs. Other resource navigation, getting ID, driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards, and then referrals to other services like legal services, which we do hold on site once a week or once a month, depending on availability. Referrals to food bank and other social services, and referrals to treatment. And most of our walk-in services, I want to mention, all of our walk-in services are 100% funded by the Measure 110 initiative. And then, so those were our 2 programs for 2023. And for case management, Dave and Steve provided 1,082 case management services, which meant 220 unique individuals for case management. So in 2024, we have a lot of changes coming up. One of those is Peer House has some changes. We're shifting treatment referrals and navigation to our peer support team. So when you come in and need treatment, you would talk to a peer support instead of waiting for an appointment for a case manager. We're also going to begin our street outreach again and include street medicine with our medical team, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. And both of these we're hoping to start in the spring. We will continue resource navigation, but that will move under our health programs. So we're going to take our case management and split it into 2 different programs, health programs and housing programs, because we realize why they're interconnected. There's a lot of different needs and a lot of different funding streams. So this includes health programs, includes the resource navigation, which is referrals for on-site primary care and via telehealth and in person. So this kind of takes the health focus and eliminates the housing services. So that is run by Steve, which is our health programs manager, and our current resource navigator, which we're hoping to get another resource navigator under him soon. And then other health programs that are launching this year is our hospital consultation and healthcare consultation services. So this is working with the hospital to support the safest possible discharge for patients who are without housing or shelter, or who have housing but lack basic resources and support to safely discharge. This also includes working with primary care offices to support patients without housing or personal support, ensuring that they can follow instructions from their PCP when they don't feel confident about their understanding or abilities to navigate medical systems, which I don't know about you guys, but it's, I'm very familiar with our medical systems, and it's already difficult sometimes for me to navigate. So when you're out on the street or you are in poverty, it's often 10 times harder. Another program is medical respite. So this program is for people discharging from the hospital. It's actually housing for people who are discharging from the hospital. It's temporary and short term. It's when they're not high enough acuity to meet the need for skilled nursing facilities, but who would otherwise readmit if not for stable housing. So it is short term. That could be 2 weeks. That could be 2 months. It's probably not going to be much longer than that, but that's really dependent on what their primary care or the hospital decides. One of the rooms is fitted with an ADA bathroom and hospice bed, including all of the equipment to handle lifting and transporting. Participants will be required to have caregiving set up prior to being accepted, but we also help with this. So the rooms might also be used for individuals who have not been in the hospital but are recommended by their insurance or medical provider or by our medical team. I also want to introduce Autumn Mercer, who is our primary care. She's our medical director and provides on-site and telehealth primary care, which just started last week, and we've already, when somebody walks in, we're able to see them within 24 hours for primary care, which has been pretty amazing. If you get primary care here, you know how long of a wait it is. I myself had to wait 9 months and ended up in the hospital recently as a result. So we're very grateful for Autumn and her whole team. Our housing programs, so we've branched these off of resource navigation, and this is led by Dave, who is our housing programs manager. We also have Sandy, who's not here right now. She's our housing navigator under Dave. And then Liz is our shelter manager in the back, and soon to be transitional housing manager once we get that up and going. And then Heather is our peer support specialist at the shelter right now. So for those programs, we have low-income housing, and I don't remember if I've mentioned this one before, but we have a housing project that's in process right now. So we're purchasing a motel in Gold Beach. I'm speaking kind of fast because I have a few pages to go through. That will be for veterans housing, and there's going to be 18 units. All of the units are low income with set rents between 30 and 80% of the AMI level. And then some of the units were actually awarded vouchers from the Housing Authority to further reduce the costs to our veterans. Case management and on-site services are offered, as well as a large residential communal building with kitchen, laundry, and lounge. We have transitional housing. This is not open yet. We hope to open it in the spring. Right now there will be 2 beds, and this allows up to 2 years while people are working to gain or increase their income, take care of past barriers, and just in general find permanent housing. Because we know that sometimes that can take a long time here. We have 2 state-funded programs right now that we just kind of received funding for, and we weren't really expecting all of this, but one is rapid rehousing. So we were awarded just under $1 million for rapid rehousing. So that's rents, deposits, moving costs, transportation, landlord incentives, and other costs to help get people off the street quickly, but also to help them stay in housing. So we hope that this should be in full swing by the end of the month. So right now people can come in, but we may not have all of the funding available until the end of the month. Homeless prevention is another state program. We received $200,000 for homeless prevention and eviction prevention. So this is for rent and other expenses for our struggling community members so that they don't end up on the street. We'll work with them to increase their budget, increase their income, and set goals to help them stabilize. And last, under the housing programs, is our winter shelter, which I've kind of mentioned before. So this program runs October 1st to March 31st, and it's dependent on state funding. We didn't anticipate getting funding this year, so we didn't open until mid-November. And then, so we rent a block of motel rooms, and then we have one that's open as an office. We have 12 rooms total, which we were only expecting 10, but funding allowed for 12 this year. We don't anticipate adding more unless another funder steps up. We cover the shelter with staff Monday through Friday, typically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So this ensures a lot of support for the participants. And I kind of, even though I know we're running out of time, I just wanted Heather to give a short, quick about the winter shelter.
I am Heather, and I just started with CORE not very long ago, and at the winter shelter, and I'm not really sure what she wants me to say exactly, or what I should say. Oh, okay, okay. And what I've seen is a lot of people that come in and they're hungry and they're scared and they're very tired, and it takes them, you know, about a week to kind of decompress, and then you see them start to kind of come out of their shell, and a lot of times you hear their stories, and then they start to feel more comfortable, and they come to you with things. We're able to help them with a lot of small challenges, and then they start to open up about bigger challenges. They start to set goals. You have people talking about wanting to get on the waiting list for housing, and people talking about, you know, getting their IDs and getting cars and things like that. Okay. I have no concept of time, I'm sorry. And, you know, and things like that, and it's just really great to be a part of that. Actually, I wanted to be a part of CORE as soon as I heard about it. And I'm really just happy to be there and happy to see all these people. You know, we have, we began getting games, and like, they just created a puzzle, and we played cards, and, you know, I know, yeah, I mean, the other night we were painting, you know, and, you know, it's just, and they're just having fun doing these things, and then they, you know, you sit there and I'm like, I can't believe that this is what I do now, you know, and watch all these people listen, you know, and they laugh and they talk to each other, and they talk about different things, just like you would with, you know, your friends and your family, and it's like a little family kind of. They talk to each other, and they socialize, and they're, you know, they rely on each other. It's just really great. Yeah.
I know, I told everybody they wouldn't have to speak, so I'm sorry, Heather, for me. I just wanted you guys to hear, like, what, like, this used to be the role that I was in, was managing the shelter, and I'm not anymore, but I hear from them all the time about how people are really coming out of their shell. And then I didn't mention myself as the executive director, and we have a new executive manager, which is Cindy, so she kind of helps with the day-to-day stuff. Before I end, I do want to tell you about the need for the future that the city could help with. It is getting cold. We've had a lot of requests for what we're going to be doing for Warming Center. Last year, we did step up, and within 48 hours, we were able to get a Warming Center going in Brookings. And I think that after that, we came back to the city and we said, hey, here's what we did, and what's the plan for the future. The city worked on an ordinance that I think was passed. Was the ordinance passed?
It's a procedure, not an ordinance, but yes.
Oh, okay, a procedure. And I think the question to me from the council was, what's the space you're going to use next time, all of that. That's really kind of dependent on the city. That's really I'm not going to say it's fully the city's job, but if the city reaches out to us to ask us to open a warming center, we will step up, but we can't do that without the city's involvement in a lot of ways. So that's something that we hope that the city will work with us on, hopefully before the next cold snap. And then and year-round emergency shelter, which I think I brought to the council last time. We do have the annual point in time count coming up, so if anybody's interested in volunteering for that, this is what funds a lot of these services around the state and the country. You can go to our website, www.brookingscoreresponse.org.
All right,
I think that's it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And if anybody wants one of these, feel free to grab one on your way out.
I know we went a little bit over there. I saw there was a time limit. I didn't notice that at the beginning. I'm still getting this down, but thank you for presenting. Moving on to oral requests and communications from the audience. This one was blank, so I'm assuming it just got thrown in there. So I'm pulling them up as I received them. The first one looks like Don Bemis and Deborah Salzman.
Mr. Mayor, councilman, council members, Don Bemis, Deborah Salzman, we're the coordinators for the Wreaths Across America that we brought 4 years ago, and we were able this year to again cover every veteran's grave in our cemetery. We had a special flyover by some local pilots. We had 3 planes fly over. We had breakfast burritos by Billy's Place. McKay's Market furnished cocoa, coffee, tea, and cookies. And we'd like to invite everybody for this year. The ceremony is going to be on December 14th this year. We will plan to cover every grave, and we'll be back at a future meeting to hand out flyers once we get them in-house. But we're very pleased. We had at least 12 corporate sponsors, and thanks to the people of Brookings and Curry County, we were able to match every dollar value of the sponsors and the corporations that sponsored it. And we had a lot of fun.
We had over 80 people that showed up for our wreath ceremony this year, so we're trying to get the word out there. And we will be starting our outreaches in April, so we'll be doing Fine Mart and McKay's Market. So if you need to sponsor wreath, you can locate us at either one of those locations.
Thank you.
And I want to thank again, if anybody showed at the ceremony or donated, thank you very much. We're going to do it again this year. Good.
Thank you.
Mary Stanford.
I'm Mary Stanford. I'm the president of the board of the Pelican Bay Arts Association.
Sorry, Mary, I might not have asked last time, but could you do your address as well?
Oh,
State
yeah.
your address,
I
please.
live at 109 Schooner Bay Drive in Brookings.
Thank you.
And the Pelican Bay Arts Association is also the Manley Arts Center. And so I'm just here to reacquaint everybody with the work of the Manley Arts Center and let you know that one of our big goals is community involvement. And also let you know kind of the things we did last year that really involved the community. One is the art report, and I want you to know that we're all members-driven organization, all volunteers. So once you're a member, then the volunteers go out and do these things in the community to bring that creative spark to Brookings. So art report is a big thing in the summer. It's up all summer. I don't know if you all familiar with that, but it's a great program that involves all the community members. We have a wonderful children's art program that's ongoing. We did a fantastic summer art camp for kids this past summer. If you go by our building, which is on Oak Street, you can see the mural the children painted outside of the building. It's quite elaborate. We did the Azalea Art Festival art show. We did a wonderful program this Christmas, Give a Gift of Local Art, and it was very successful, and it brought in some artists that they could actually make money doing their artwork. We have classes and workshops for people of all ages, and we just want to make sure that we are a community, an arts community, and we want you all to know that we're here and we love Brookings, and we just want to be a part of this whole process.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Lori Zemer.
Hi, I'm Lori Zemer, Deputy Director of Public Works and Developmental Services for the City of Brookings. I've been with the city for 18 plus years. My address, City Hall, 898 Yellow Drive.
All right.
And I've worked in several different departments here. I recognize that this is a new council with 3 of you only having a few meetings under your belt, and the other 2 councilors a little over a year's worth. So I wanted to share my perspective as a staff member with you, as I believe the council is on the brink of making a decision of terminating the city manager. I know the council has the ear of some of the police department, but want to point out that City Hall does not consist of just that one department. We have finance, public works, building, planning, and parks. I believe you should use the other ear to hear what they have to say. I was surprised that no one on council has taken initiative to ask what that might be and how your decision will affect the rest of city staff. I hope you're considering all of city staff. The police department does a great job of representing our city and doing their job. I commend them. But so does the rest of City Hall. We are all diligently going about our jobs efficiently and effectively, and the city manager plays a huge role in that. I believe if you choose to terminate the city manager, which could appease the recall crowd, some of the police department, some people may be here tonight, all of whom could possibly take pleasure in that measure and would probably clap and high five each other for you making such a decision so early in your new council's tenure. Where were they when the council approved the contracts for the airport taxiway, the Jacobs Engineering wastewater contract, the Chetco Avenue improvements, or the Kidtown rebuild project? Were they applauding staff for those accomplishments that in some cases take staff months and possibly years to plan, develop, and prepare for completion? I do have to wonder about those people taking pleasure in such a decision that could effectively halt and delay staff's progress on ongoing and upcoming projects. So, besides appeasing some of those in favor of termination, you would be throwing staff for a loop, paying the city manager severance pay, and thus start the ball rolling to first go through the steps to hire an interim city manager and then a city manager. In my time here, I have worked with 3 city managers and 3 interim city managers. The hiring process varies. Could take 3 months to a year to find the right fit. In that time, staff has to orient each of them to city processes, budgets, grants, projects, etc., which means in general, many things get put on the back burner until the hiring of a new city manager is complete. I believe you have another choice, which might be as simple as advising that you will not be renewing the city manager's contract that ends in December, thereby putting her on notice. You could then take steps to start the process of recruiting a new city manager. She will then take us through the process of hiring a new city manager, and then, if she has not already found new employment, she can be terminated. If she finds employment in the meantime, she may leave earlier than her contract end date, but you would not be paying severance pay, and you would not be paying for an interim city manager or causing staff disruption to the same degree.
Lori, just letting you know we're running over time.
Oh, sorry. I talk slow. You have not lost anything with option. You may actually save the city money, and at the end result, the same. And at the end, the result is the same, other than you may not appease the crowd immediately. Janelle has in no way hampered or hindered any efforts and has made every effort to bring the new councilors and the new mayor up to speed on the measures it takes to run a city government, and I believe her interest lies in keeping the city functional and organized during a transition. I hope the council recognizes that the least amount of undue disruption for staff is of great benefit to keep the city on track with current daily operations and future ones. Thanks for listening.
All right, moving on into agenda item F, consent calendar. Approve council minutes for December 4th and 5th, December 11th, January 2nd, and accept November financials.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Call the question?
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Prada.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item G, staff reports, public hearing, ordinances, resolutions, final orders.
Thank you. We have the script in front of us here. Tony's available to answer any questions for you, but you have done a full review already, and there's no more public input if you want to start on that script.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It is 7:26 on January 8th, 2024. We're about to continue action on the matter of the Planning Commission's September 5th, 2023 decision on file APP-1-23, denying the appeal of a notice of abatement issued April 14th, 2023 to St. Timothy's Episcopal Church at 401 First Street. Assessor's map and tax lot number 4113-05BC-07300. And is Lori Cooper on the phone?
She is not yet. Rick was going to join her.
Okay, we'll get City Attorney Lori Cooper on the phone in case there's any questions.
Hi, you're on speaker with council. I'm gonna add you to the conference. Okay.
Make sure Phoebe's
Feeberry, are you still there?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Lori and Counselor Pareda, correct?
Correct.
Good. All right, so we're continuing to move through agenda item G. And the record has been closed on this matter and no additional oral or written testimony will be taken. As we said, the city staff and city attorney will answer any questions that anyone on the council has regarding this matter. And then a motion may be made and the council will begin deliberations on this matter. Okay, I've heard or seen no reason for questions, so moving on. By a show of hands, do any counselors, and by voice over the phone, any counselors have any ex parte contacts to declare for this matter?
I had ex parte contact, speaker's a little funky, ex parte contact as I was on the planning commission that reviewed this originally.
So we had this, yes, go ahead.
No ex parte, but I just wanted to go ahead and state up front that while I've reviewed the vast majority of the records in this matter and it's kept up to date on the legal issues that are involved, however, due to my abstention on the vote on the initial motion on this matter several weeks ago, because I had not yet had time to review the complete record at that point, the city attorney has recommended that I abstain from voting on the final decision on this matter tonight.
Did everyone hear that? Thank you. So we've heard the source and substance of the contact for the record. Does anyone want to question any counselor about the substance of the contact, Malmberg, or what Counselor Pareda said? Okay, I see no hands raised. Next question is, by a show of hands, does any counselor have any personal bias or personal interest that would preclude their participation in hearing this matter? Okay, I see no raised hands. To the next question. By a show of hands or voice, does any counselor have any potential or actual conflict of interest to declare for this matter? All right, I see no hands raised. Next question, does anyone object to the jurisdiction of the city council to hear this matter? All right, seeing no raised hands and objection, we will now proceed with the council agenda report. Be Tony?
Yes, council has asked staff to bring back a final order for you, and we have done that, and that's all I have for you tonight.
Okay. Any additional questions? If there's no questions, a motion could be made.
I move to affirm the Planning Commission decision of APP-1-23 denying the appeal of a notice of abatement issued April 14th, 2023 to St. Timothy's Episcopal Church at 401 First Street, Assessor's Map and Tax Lot Number 4113-05BC-07300, zoned R-1-6, single-family residential, based on the findings and conclusions stated in this January 28th, 2024 council agenda report.
I'll just to clarify, January 8th instead of 28th.
January 8th, 2024. And let me just ask, I can hear the echo when I talk. Can you hear what we're saying? Okay.
So a motion's been made.
Second.
Call the question.
Counselor Fulton,
Yes.
Counselor Pareda,
Abstain.
Counselor Malmberg,
Yes.
Counselor Martin,
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Is there any further discussion on Agenda G? Moving on to number 2 then? Okay, all right. I guess on Agenda G1. Number 2, Amendment Number 2 to ODOT Cooperative Improvement Agreement, US 101 Parkview Drive, Tawaki Lane.
Thank you. In front of you is amendment number 2 to agreement number, sorry, I missed the number there. 32908 from ODOT. And this is regarding what we referred to typically over the years as the North 101 Sidewalk Project. This started, and we were initially awarded in 2017 for the 2019-21 grant cycle, delayed by COVID and delayed again by the state of Oregon's budget issues because of COVID. It kind of passed on a couple years. Since the first amendment, the cost has went up. From the beginning, it was started at 3.2 and it's almost 6 million now total project. Thank goodness most of that is covered by the federal and state government. Our portion has went up from 359 to about 622 over that period of time. Although a really small percentage of the total match, it is a lot. So we're at about 10%, a little over 10% total cost. I have the amendment in front of you. The next agenda item actually is the relocation of utilities that Tony will refer to. I guess it's kind of like a hurry up and wait thing. We've been waiting for budget cycle after budget cycle. We have to have the utilities moved next month, and so all of that is kind of coming to a crunch. As soon as, this is the draft copy of the state, they still have legal review. I don't anticipate anything major changing, but because of the utility relocation, we wanted to make sure we got this in front of you now, so that we weren't behind the schedule for that. So, is there any questions regarding the project as a whole, and Tony can answer some of those as well?
I don't. I think I understand it. It's a bummer that it's going so high in cost.
Does this maybe just give us kind of a brief summary of the project? This is the extension of the sidewalk on the north end of town. Can you maybe just add to that a little?
Yeah, it starts out at Lucky Lane, and it includes ADA improvements at crosswalk, or at ramps and intersections. And then, of course, from essentially ponchos north. There's not really much of a sidewalk there. So they're gonna build the sidewalk out, tie it into the sidewalk that we have, they're just before Dollar General, and then take it from Easy Street all the way down to Parkview. It's interesting, when we applied for this grant, one of the things we did is we put a baby in a baby stroller with a GoPro on her head. The baby doll walked down this section of the highway, and sent the video to ODOT as part of our grant application, and it's quite treacherous to walk that little section of highway with your child right on the other side of the fault line. So it's a much needed project. And unfortunately, it's taking this long, but the design of this project is unique. It has some challenges. And of course, over time, we've seen through COVID, the expenses have just gone through the roof on the project. But it also does include some repair of sidewalks on the other side of the highway, just across from Lucky Lane as well, and across from Checker Lane. So right there, Rancho Video and that section in front of the Northgate Shopping Center.
Excellent.
And to clarify the next one, I know we're not talking about necessarily yet, but the next, number 3, the utility relocation, you don't want to redo and then tear up and redo, so doing it all at once is the preferred route.
Yeah, I can go into that now, and just make a motion, but ODOT, when they do projects on the highway, they require all utilities to relocate their stuff if it's in the way. So we have a handful of items that are in the way, water, sewer lines, that are in direct conflict with ADA ramps, or some kind of stormwater design aspect of their project, and so we need to get them out of the way so that they're not impeding their design. And it's not just the city, it's well, unfortunately, we have a few projects that parks that are in there. And we've actually been able to negotiate that list down from a dozen to six.
Thank you.
Go ahead and make a motion, unless there's any further discussion. Make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute amendment number 2 to cooperative improvement agreement with the State of Oregon Department of Transportation for US 101 Parkview Drive to Lucky Lane.
I'll second. Call the question.
Counselor Pereira?
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg?
Yes.
Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Counselor Fulton?
Yes.
Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to G3, utility relocation for ODOT sidewalk projects. Also something Tony Barron filled us in on. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so I'll just add that we had 2 qualified bids from our as-needed contract list, McLennan and Tidewater. McLennan was the low at $62,702 and some change, and they can complete the work in the time we had to have it completed by the end of February before that sidewalk project was bid.
Quite a bit lower, too.
You have any questions?
I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with McLennan Excavation in the amount of $62,703 for utility relocation.
My second.
Call the question?
Counselor Malmberg?
Yes.
Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Counselor Fulton?
Yes.
Counselor Pereira?
Yes.
Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item G4, transfer of county orphan parcels to the city.
Thank you. I brought this to you all in a workshop, discussed extensively. So these are parcels that that are left over on the county's inventory within the city limits. Most of them are up Seacrest and the end of Glenwood Drive. And then there's a couple, there's two that are out in the Dawson Track area. This is really sort of a kind of a cleanup, if you will. The county agreed to hand the parcels over. They've actually taken care of all the closing and everything, so it's no cost to the city. Any questions?
Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to disclose that I live near on the public right-of-ways that are being discussed in this matter, but I do not own the property that I live on, and the fact that I live in this area is not going to affect my objectivity in participating in voting on this agenda item.
Thank you. Motion?
I'll move to authorize the city manager to execute documents to accept the dedication of real property from Curry County as described in County Order Number 23342 and the attached map.
Second?
Call the question.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Pareda.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to agenda item G5, appoint city representative to the Border Coast Regional Airport Authority Board.
Thank you. In addition, I included in this packet, on page 96, a list of the council committee liaison report we discussed at the workshop, and you various volunteers for each of those positions. So I do want to just clarify that everybody's good with where their names are. The only one that requires the formal resolution is the Border Coast Regional Airport Authority, so I did put that on for adoption of that resolution at this meeting, and Clayton volunteered to do that at the last meeting. So I would like to get that adopted, but I'd also just like to confirm you're all okay with those appointments that you volunteered for or not volunteered for.
You had any second thoughts?
It's fine. I can do it.
Any questions?
I was going to mention that if I would be added in as an alternate for both the Curry County and the Facada Precinct review.
Can I clarify, when you say Curry County, are you speaking of Board of Commissioners?
Yes.
Okay.
And then just clarification, I'm currently on the Southwest Area Commission of Transportation. I'm the Curry County stakeholder position, and I can stay in that, but I can also represent the city if needed. So I'll be in the meeting either way. So.
We would like both votes, Clayton.
So this whole thing, though, does not need to be voted on?
It does not.
This is just for reference to know?
Correct.
Okay. So we're truly looking for a motion for the Border Coast Regional Airport Authority representative.
Yeah, I move to adopt Resolution 24-R-1252, appointing Councilor Clayton Malmberg as the city representative to the Border Coast Regional Airport Authority and appointing City Manager Janelle Howard as alternate.
I second.
Call the question?
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Pareda.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Do I abstain or do I say yes? I can say yes? Okay, I'll say yes.
Counselor Martin.
I don't want to vote for
Yes.
myself.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, moving on to item H, informational, non-action items, the December 2023 vouchers. Any remarks or comments there? All right, move on then. Remarks from mayor, councilors, or city manager?
I have some remarks. I just wanted to take a minute to recognize all the hardworking employees of the city of Brookings, and that the city of Brookings is blessed to have them. Brookings is a special place, and keeping it operating efficiently is no small task. Many of the day-to-day operations required to keep our city functioning can easily go unnoticed. This is because of the excellent work done in the background by dedicated individuals with a work ethic and integrity. Excuse me. Should have worn my glasses.
I'll borrow mine.
Yeah, hold it. Hold it out like that. Excuse me. I'm continually impressed with city staff, as I have been meeting more of them recently, from administrative professionals, Public Works Department, Parks, Water and Wastewater, Police and Fire. I'm convinced we have an excellent team. I wanted to let you know that you're appreciated. The city of Brookings owes a lot of its greatness to your hard work and dedication. I believe that I don't speak only for myself, but for the council in saying that we are committed to supporting you in your efforts and look forward to working with you together in 2024. And then I just wanted to get a consensus, or that I'd like to share this with the city staff. Typed it up, and just want to ask city manager, for anyone who wasn't watching the meeting, just let them know how much we appreciate him.
I agree with everything you said.
Agreed.
Can you guys hear me okay on that end?
We can.
Okay, I completely agree with Councilman Mulberg and appreciate him putting that together and stating that. And at a quick statement I wanted to make, I believe that at our January 2nd special meeting, we weren't particularly clear as to our intent in seeking out a consultation group and exactly what we hope to accomplish as it relates to the city in utilizing this tool. So I just hope to bring a little bit of clarity in that regard. The council is seeking out the most efficient and best practices methods in how the city conducts business and spends the taxpayer dollars. In desiring this, the council is authorizing the mayor to begin seeking out a consultation firm to observe how the city utilizes its resources within its many departments in the city operations. This isn't a new practice. It's been around in city government and corporate communities for many years. The goal of the consulting firm will be to observe how the city operates within the given department and compare those activities and processes to best practices and standards as they relate to operations, operating systems, and resources. The consulting firm will then make recommendations as to any potential changes that could or should be made to come into compliance with those standards. It is the current council's desire to be as transparent in operations and as responsible with taxpayer dollars as possible. With that being the case, there is no better way to be transparent than to open the doors of city operations to be voluntarily evaluated and to make wise, diligent changes if needed. We understand that being voluntarily evaluated is not fun, and it is not intended to challenge any city employee's job or to make changes for the sake of change. The intent is to create a more efficient, streamlined, and transparent team for the sake of the city, its employees, and the community as a whole. It is my belief that our cities are our greatest asset and most valuable resource. My sincere hope is through this process, we will bring improvements that will not only assist our employees in achieving citywide goals, but excelling in their ability to do so for the benefit of our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Please.
In December, I made some closing remarks that encouraged the council and citizens of Brookings to take the month of December to volunteer, to help a neighbor, to give of their time, energies, and efforts to others in small or big ways as they were able. Tonight, I encourage all to continue these efforts into the new year. In fact, we can all jump right in on Monday, January 15th, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a day of celebrating his life and legacy. He once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" I encourage all to attend or organize a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event, to volunteer your time. One of the best ways to honor him is by giving back to our community. Brookings has many nonprofit organizations that could benefit from a helping hand. And you could also reflect on the impact that he had on civil rights. Consider how his work has influenced lives in the world around us. Martin Luther King Jr., through nonviolent leadership and peaceful teachings, used the power of words and acts of nonviolent resistance to further racial equality. The principle that men and women everywhere, regardless of color or creed, are equal members in a human family. To not judge by color, but by the content of one's character. Let's continue his legacy. And to close, Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The time is always right to do what is right." Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Well, I have something quick, and that is just, speaking of December, volunteering at the parks and the lights, they were amazing again this year, and I know a lot of work goes into that, including help from our city staff, tons of volunteers, so thank you for that. Again, another standout event. And the Wreaths Across America, I've had the honor to to be there anyways, 2 years in a row here in our Brookings Cemetery, and I know some of the people I work with attend the Gold Beach one as well, and it is also a standout event. So thank you for all of that, and it's very meaningful. Being generations here, getting to place wreaths on some of my own family's graves is very meaningful. So thank you for all you do with that. And that's all I have. So anything else? All right, in that case, we'll adjourn at 7:55.